Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, Leeds 5, Raging Echoes, what regions and what are my current plans with the current information. So, it is the 14th of November today, which means we haven't had our today's spoiler, and we've only had 3 days worth of spoilers, which means these may change. However, before any of the spoilers, I was already leaning towards these 3 regions and style, so it might be that way anyway. And those styles for me are going to be Varlamore, Fremennik and Morytania, and I'm going to be leaning towards any combat relic that is in the melee build. So there you go, 35 seconds in. For anyone saying you can condense some 20-minute ramble down into a 30-second video, I have now done that, because I do not know how much longer this video is going to be. Because I'm going to kind of talk a bit about all of these Echo bosses and kind of understanding where I'm coming from with all of my thought processes and whatnot about how everything works. The reason I'm making this video is I rambled about this on my live stream yesterday for 2 hours straight. We were just chatting about it for so long. And then I was streaming, and I didn't want to be streaming because I wanted to turn the stream off to make a video of me yapping. So unfortunately, I'm probably going to forget all of the really good points we came up with, but yeah, so I'll shortcut this quickly. For those that don't know what Raging Echoes is, it is RuneScape's 5th league. We had a Twisted League, then we had Trailblazer, then we had Shattered Relics, then we had Trailblazer 2, and this is now Raging Echoes, which is kind of Trailblazer 3 or 2.5, but what the Raging Echoes are something called an Echo bosses. Now, you might be looking at the screen and be like, what the hell is the Dog Sword? So, first of all, this is a completely private game to RuneScape. This doesn't come into old school RuneScape at all. It's a server that will start on the 27th of November, and I think midday UK time, and it will end like 6 weeks in or something, and then everything just disappears to zero. You play it for fun. You don't get anything from it except for fun. And if you're a streamer or a YouTuber, you get loads of ad revenue and sponsor revenue, mate. Perfect, bro. That's what we like, man. That is what we like. So, basically, yeah, if you look at the screen, there's a Cerberus that looks a different color. That's the color scheme of the Raging Echoes. And there's an item on the screen called the Dog Sword. Now, the Cerberus is the Echo boss to the Asgarnia region. And the Dog Sword is the unique Echo item in the Asgarnia region. So if I quickly skip through some of this one is Desert. We have Calfight Queen that drops the Drago Blowpipe. Morytania, the Grotesque Guardians, drop a Gloves of the Damned. Wilderness King Black Dragon with the Thunder Kapesh. I like the Kapesh, man. I like saying it. And blah, blah, blah. Goes all the way through. And yeah, it's basically one boss in a region that is going to be having unique mechanics. Maybe stuff we see in the future. Maybe stuff Jaggers want to test out. And it is just like, if I fight the Hespori, it's not going to be a Hespori. It's going to be Hespori on crack, mate. It's going to be hopefully really, really fun, difficult, and not annoying to fight. Because the Soul Herodip, this is the Varlamore one. Apparently, this is the only Grandmaster difficulty one. And I have a feeling that this could either be really fun or could it be a pile of shit. Because in all honesty, like, what makes a Grandmaster Soul Herodip? You want me to tell you what makes a Grandmaster Soul Herodip? Imagine back in the day when the Colosseum came out. And when you went to Soul Herodip, you have 5 Doom points, a Doom Scorpion, some bees, and I don't know what else. You know, imagine killing Soul Herodip nowadays, but you have the bee invocation on to level 3, a Doom Scorpion snipping around, and if you make 5 mistakes, you insta-wipe. You know, that right there is a freaking Grandmaster Soul Herodip. But I'll tell you now, that'd be the most piss annoying thing to fight, so I hope it ain't that. But we're gonna find out the hard way. So yeah, right. So I'll do my regions first. I'll rewind the clock a bit. So there are some with league videos. By the way, I'm not gonna make a video every day with every single spoiler. Everything I say now might be completely different today when the update comes out in 5 days. Be completely irrelevant. For me, maybe not. But I won't be making a video every day. I'll make one like every 3, 4, 5 days. If a big thing comes out that changes plans, that correlates to stuff I've said in the past, I can go back and contradict myself on stuff that I've said that's now changed in the future. So what I'm about to say with my regions is not set in stone, but before any of the spoilers and months in advance of the league, these were the regions I was going to go for. So those regions, as I said, is going to be Varlamore, Morytania, and Fremennik. Let me move this down here so I don't have to click out the way. So the reasons why I wanted to do Varlamore, Morytania, and Fremennik before anything came out is in the previous league, when they announced the league on the actual Winter Summit, Summer Summit, whatever it was, I wasn't excited. I didn't care. It was too soon. I'd just done Trailblazer 2, or it felt like I'd just done Trailblazer 2, and now Trailblazer 2.5 is coming out. I was like, I would rather wait 14 to 16 to 18 months for a league. So I thought to myself, I did a mage build, two mage builds actually in the previous league, and by far I think they were the best build. I thought they were so fun to do. So I thought to myself, if this league feels too soon, how about I change the build completely, and I changed the regions. So in the previous league, I did do Morytania actually, but I did Kandarian and desert. This time around, I'm just doing regions I've not done on a different build. I'm going to be swinging towards the melee build, and that means I'm going to get a completely different league experience. So that's why I went for that. Now, the 3 regions I chose on the melee build is I also wanted a goal to get the highest strength bonus gear in the game. Now, Kandarin comes with Piety. Piety is obviously extremely good for melee. I don't know if the Ruinous Powers are going to be out. I don't like the Ruinous Powers. I really didn't like playing with them. I just like the old school look of things. So I told myself I really don't want to choose Kandarin unless I don't want to. I'm going to cut ahead a bit here, but the Echo boss for Kandarin is the Thermonuclear Smoke Devil, and the actual item it drops is this Devil's Element, which is a magic-based thing, and it's honestly a massive pile of garbage. Now I'm going to sneeze, so 1 second. Don't worry, I only sneezed 1 time. If I sneeze twice, I'm fine. If I sneeze 3 times, it means I'm ill. So yeah, I didn't want to choose Kandarin because I didn't want to do Piety, and the grinds there are garbage, so I was like, you know, sack that off, whatever. I'm going to play a melee build without Piety. If I have to take Ruinous Powers, I will, because they will just be worth doing. So once Kandarin was out the equation, I was there like, okay, I want the highest strength bonus gear. What are the highest strength bonus gear combination of areas? And after a lot of testing and calculating everything bit by bit, those regions are Zeya, Varlamore, and Fremennik. And the reason why is you get the Ultor Ring, you get the Face Guard, you get the Blood Moon, Ferocious Gloves, the Manacles, some clue or whatever the hell. There is a slightly lower one, which was exactly the regions I said, but Morytania. You lose the Ferocious Gloves, but you actually gain Arania Boots, which I think are the same, but you just get more content in Morytania. So, yes, Asgarnia and full Torva, and the combinations I said, doesn't actually beat it. Like, Asgarnia as a region, as a melee build, is amazing. Specifically, now they have a dog sword, I'll be honest, but there are some grinds there that I don't really want to do. But yeah, so I thought to myself, Varlamore and Fremennik, that gets me an Ultor Ring, because you get both of those combined. You get a Face Guard, you get the little wacky things, the little Jewel Machakalakas or something, you get the Blood Moon, and then I have Morytania, because I get TOB, which is a melee-based raid, which will definitely be the funnest raid to do. I can get all 3 Mega Rares from that raid. There's loads of stuff that's good in Morytania on a melee build, and then, yeah, I just lose the better strength bonus, and that was kind of where I sat before any of the updates came out. So if I rewind the clock quickly, Relic 1, I think I'm a Harpooner. I'm going to do some more research on it. I don't know my goals yet. I'm not playing the full league because it's Christmas time and I'm going to be very busy for a while, so I might lose interest. If I don't, I'll keep playing. But yeah, I think I'm going to be a Harpooner. The Golden God, which is a relic that basically alks for you and makes you loads of money. Even though I'm in the Fremennik region, I don't think I'm going to need that. My mindset, again, is in Morytania. That's not the Morytania, that's the Wilderness. In Morytania, Theater of Blood as a raid has some very good uniques that alk for big money. Now, if you do a raid in this league, or a hard mode raid, or a 500 invocation raid, or maybe a challenge mode chambers, if anyone on the team gets a purple, the whole team gets a purple. So if we're doing TOB, the odds on a quadruple drop rate or something is 1 in 2, then every raid we do in 20 minutes because of the relics or something, if it's a purple and it's just this year play, I make like 3 mil raw gold. So yeah, I don't really need to go Golden God. So that one's currently crossed out for me at this time. But yeah, they're the 3 regions that I'm definitely going. And then when they announce these Echo bosses, I still kind of like the regions. So the Morytania one, so first of all, I'll go with Fremennik. Fremennik is the region I think I'm 100% taking. These items are maybe more boring for a league. They're more utility items, I agree. But the idea of fighting Echo Dragon of Kings sounds like a very, very enjoyable tribrid boss for me. I'm getting a phone call. I'm going to pause again. Right, I'm back. Sorry, I had to go collect a delivery. I swear, like, every time I try and, like, do streams or make a video, bro, the phone rings, like, 5 minutes into it, so it's fine. Sorry. No idea where I was. I think I was talking about these Echo drops and how they might be kind of boring, but they're more utility. But the Dragon of Kings as Echo bosses might be quite interesting, because if you look at that to me, I think it'll be an instance, but that to me looks like I ball down and I can go in and tribrid them, or, sorry, not tribrid, but prayer flick them all or something. Like, Dragon of Kings are one of the best places to learn, like, prayer switching your overheads and stuff, of how to avoid the styles of each different combination. So with these ones, you might be able to do that as, like, some fun thing. So I think as a fight, they'll probably be very enjoyable to do as well, like circling like around the 3 and like doing all that stuff. I don't know yet, obviously, they could be completely wrong and it could be the worst fight of all time. But yeah, so the Amulet of the Monarchs and the Emperor Ring, they are the best in slot for every style, for everything you want to kill in the entirety of the entire league. Now, they might be a bit more boring, and one thing that really sucks is, yes, I really wanted the Ultor Ring, which is one reason I went Varlamore and Fremy, because you don't need Desert for DT2 bosses. but you need to get the item from, sorry, Vardorvis is in Varlamore. I should have probably said that. Yeah, Vardorvis is in Varlamore this time around. We don't know why, but it just is. But yeah, you have to get the Ultor Vestige. Then you got to get a Berserker Ring from the Dagon of Rex. So you need them both. But now, obviously, the Ultor Ring is dead weight because the Emperor Ring's just better. But yeah, so Fremennik is a region I'm almost definitely going. I feel like it's going to be fun to do on a melee build. I like killing Duke. I don't like the Moospa. I'm not a fan of the Grumbler, so that might kind of suck. Vorkath should be fine on a melee build, I'm pretty sure, and then Dagon of Kings are just tribrid, but I really like those, the Amulet, I like the Emperor Ring, it's good with every style, so if I do end up hitting up any level of bossing or combat later on that requires me to use a style that might not be favorable to my relics, those things can help carry. Which will be quite nice. So yeah, Fremennik should be good. Tasks-wise, I don't really care. I care when I look at a league, I care more about combat. So I look at the regions. I'm like, what combat can I do with my style? So here I've got the Grumbler. I've got Vorkath. I've got the Duke. I can melee all of that. I've got Dagon of Kings, which are tribrid. That's pretty cozy. I like that. So it should be all good. I also get a Gilded Altar, so I'm excited for them. Although Varlamore gives a Gilded Altar as well, apparently, but I don't know too well. So, other region I want to do, Morytania. Melee build, I want one of the 3 raids. Which is the best raid for melee? Hands down is the Theatre of Blood. Particular of Relics, it's super fast. And with the ability to all 3 Mega Rares now in the raids, I think TOB is going to be the way to print it. I'm friends with a lot of the best TOBers in the game. So I should be able to get some very good teams there and, you know, just wiggle along behind them and collect my purples. You know, thank you very much, mate. Send them 5 mil for the leech at the end or something like that. So that should be good. Grotesque Guardians is an Echo boss, though. I don't really know how exciting it'll be, but there is 50% of that fight melee, and then the other half is range, so I don't know. Now, the Gloves of the Damned, when this announced on the stream, or the video, I literally paused it, and I just said, I freaking wish that these had the same stats as the Ferocious Gloves, because then I do have the max strength bonus gear in the game, because that's the only thing that Zaya offers is Ferocious Gloves that are better. There is some stuff I will come to after. I'm going to go through all of the regions, by the way. I'm just going through my 3 first, and I'll explain the other ones. What Gloves of the Damned do? Well, you can read it on the screen. It basically doubles the effects of all the Barrow's effects in the Amulet of the Damned editions. So if I wear those, which are basically Barrow's gloves, so I can wear them everywhere, and I'm wearing full Darok, I will get the effect of the Darok of the Amulet of the Damned. I actually don't know what that is off the top of my head. All I know is that the Guthan one heals you, Verak hits through prayer armor, whatever the hell, Torak drains some agility, or gives you more defense or some garbage. Aram's is good because it makes my magic very powerful. That this Gloves of the Damned, the more I thought about it, the Gloves of the Damned, I thought they were shit. But it actually kind of gives you relics in the other styles, because it actually makes your Carol's bow super freaking fast. So if I want to train range, I've got like a blowpipe Carol's bow. That's like a range relic. And then if I want to train mage, I've got full arms, which does loads of damage. So that's also quite good. I don't rate these highly. They're probably one of the worst I can get, but they do give me a little extra. But the Morytania region for me is not fully chosen because of the Echo Boss or the item. It's chosen mainly because I want one raid to do, and that's the Theatre of Blood. The Chambers of Xeric, there's a lot you can't melee, there's a lot you can melee. And then, obviously, TOA. TOA's got a bit melee, but it's heavily magic raid, so I wanted the melee raid. So that's why I went Morytania. And I will probably mess around with those and hit some big hits with Darok, so it should be good. And then the final region was Varlamore. Again, Varlamore is a great region for melee, and it's a great region to potentially pick first. I will have Misthalin, I'll have Karamja, and I think Varlamore might be a really good first pick, because Varlamore at the moment is very early mid-game, if you think about it. There's nothing there that's difficult except for the Colosseum. But obviously, we can leave the Colosseum until later on, like after I get a Scythe or something like that. This is until Varlamore Part 3. But I think the grinds there are great. Everything is melee. Perilous Moons, all melee. I get the dual Chakalakas there, all melee. Araxalital, whatever that is, that's melee. The Huicotal, that is melee. The Colosseum, you can melee it. Now, I don't know how to melee a Colosseum, so I will have to do some practice on the main game, because I know for a fact that I'm going to do it. One thing I realized yesterday as well is I'm actually in Fremennik region, so I can get a Venator bow from the Musp Grumbler thing and use that in the Colosseum as well. So that should be really, really nice for me. So I'm quite looking forward to that one. As for the items, the bracers, as far as I'm aware, I don't know if I'll need healing yet, depending on my relics. But I can just literally wield the bracers and then drink a potion or eat a food, then take them back off again. So they're like a switch that doubles healing. So I'm just going to leave them be, because they're inferior, I think, to the Gloves of the Damned. I've not double-checked all of that. I'll check it later. The Sunlight Spear, it removes the ability or whatnot to use a scythe. Because obviously, if I need to stack these Mejai's Light or whatever it is from League of Legends, yeah, if I need to stack those, then I'm not going to be using the scythe. But yeah, the prayer bonus thing should be quite fun as well. because there's quite a bit of prayer bonus, plus obviously the stuff in the Colosseum's nice. But yeah, they're the regions I want to go for. There's a ton of melee bosses. There's a few grinds that might be bad. I think like Abyssal Sire, I don't have Ancients, so that could really suck. I do think it's possible to do, and it's pretty bad. Leviathan as well, I can't exactly melee that. These are obviously the ones I can melee Jad, I can melee the Inferno, so things like that should be all good. But yeah, they're the regions I'm going for. Now, my backup region, again, these can change. This video is, like I said, recorded on the 14th of November. If there's any update that comes out that changes all my plans, I'll make a new video in the future. But I'm not going to be making videos every day like, oh, yeah, I'm changing my thing. Oh, yeah, I'm not going to do that shit. I can't be asked on that. My backup region is Taranwyn. Because this one, and let me explain, this one's Echo Boss is the Hunlith, and I have a feeling the Corrupted Hunlith is a pretty hands-on deck fight, you know, it's pretty good. So a corrupted version could be terrifyingly fun to fight. Plus, you skip the prep stage, so that just sounds really cool to me. But this one gives you a Crystal Blessing, which gives you more prayer, potentially towards Varlamore, depending which region I decide to drop. But what it does is if you wear this Blessing, it gives you the power of Crystal Armor with any melee weapon in the game, which is 30 accuracy and 15% melee damage to everything. Now, you don't need to wear Crystal Armor as well. Please know that. It's not worded the greatest. The best way to read this one is backwards. Whilst equipped, the Crystal Blessing will give you the bonuses of Crystal Armor, basically. That's what it should be kind of saying. You wield the Blessing, and it will give you the melee damage bonus. Now, Full Crystal apparently doesn't give you damage bonus to the Blade of Sailder. It's only the Bofa that it will give you the damage bonus to. I don't know if they change that in a league. If they potentially do, and you can stack Full Crystal with the Blade of Sailder and that is really high melee DPS, and it could actually be better than Scythe. Doubt. But that's something that could be interesting. So this is kind of a backup region because, again, I think the prayer bonus plus the damage on that could be good. But I think the grinds in Taranwyn for a melee build suck. You know, you get Zulrah, I get the Hunlith, and I get Zolcano. You know, I don't really want to do any of that. It's all kind of dead with melee. You know, I can do half the Hunlith fight with melee, but it's just better with mage and range. Zulrah is kind of like, yeah, that's dead. So that's why it's a backup region. Don't plan to go for it yet. So that's the plan with me. I will be going to probably Varlamore as my first one. No plans to get this gear yet. I'll probably get this one last. And then it's going to be between Morytania and Fremennik for my next regions. And they're the Echo Bosses I'll be fighting. And that's kind of the plan. Because most of the grinds, combat-wise, in those regions are going to be pretty fun. So, you may ask immediately, why not go Asgarnia for the Dog Sword? You get loads of good melee grinds here because you get Mole. You get Mole, you get Cerberus, you get Grado, you get Ziliana, you get Nex without a fang could be here, but I don't know. Maybe it's okay with like the Spear or something. You get Zami, God Wars, Krill. Kriara kind of sucks. But yeah, so why am I not going there? It's okay, but I feel like the whole game would become the Dog Sword, which does look fun to use, but I feel like the gimmick of that for someone like me, I've used all the God Swords before a billion times. I think the gimmick would fall off after using the spec 100 times, you know, and then if I'm playing the league for another 20,000 specs, it might be a bit So yeah, I'm not too interested in that one. But the Dog Sword, I'm very looking forward to the first person that gets it and uses it because it's going to be pretty cool. Asgarnia is a region that I think is more range heavy, in all honesty. I think, again, if you want to play range... Well, I'll come back to what I think, because I think this league is very leaning towards a melee-heavy league. We don't know yet if we have to glass into one style, or if we're going to get hybrid styles or tribrid. We might get the Ninja Sigil from Deadman mode, for all we know, and you can just kind of... That changes a lot, because then the grinds change. Taranwyn becomes good then, because everything's super fast, or whatnot. But yeah, this one's like a melee. This is obviously like, if I go through all the echoes really fast, the Dog Sword, this is obviously melee based. You can use it on any build, but it's obviously heavy melee based. The Drygore Blowpipe is basically a blowpipe that rolls like the Fang. So it's going to hit once, but then it's going to roll 2 hits, and it's going to roll the highest hit every time. So the accuracy is insane. The DPS on that thing is going to be disgusting. But I still think a Scythe's probably going to be better. But that's obviously a very range-heavy item in what I consider to be the biggest mage region, you know, the desert, so they don't quite go hand in hand at that point. That's why maybe it's going to have to be a hybrid region. If you go mage and range, desert's fantastic at that point. Obviously, Morytania is kind of tribrid because you get all 6 barrow sets to mess around with. The wilderness, you get the Thunder Kapesh and the 1,000 Dragon Ward. The Ward's kind of It's nice for AFK, I guess. You know, you can go kill 50,000 wyverns and just literally not even look at the screen. The Kapesh looks a little bit fun to look at and all that stuff. But again, this feels more melee. You know, it's a melee item. So if you want to go melee, you got to go wilderness. Now, wilderness does have a lot of melee grinds, which is quite nice. If you went melee range, the wilderness would probably be a pretty good region to go to. This is just pure magic, and all this does is basically give you unlimited elemental runes when equipped, which is shit because everyone's gonna have so much money anyway, particularly if you go Golden God. But it basically doubles all the NPC weaknesses, and you'll hit insanely high, which is kind of cool. But if you kill anything that doesn't have a weakness, this is just trash, you know. So I think this is the worst out of all of the Echo regions. And then Kandarin as a region, if you're going any build, is just trash. You know, if you go like Kandarin was almost mandatory for mage build previously for the Occult Necklace pre-nerf and the Tormented Brace, but Fremennik smokes that out the park now. You know, you lose the Tormented Bracelet, but you get the Amulet of Monarchs, which is basically the non-nerfed Occult, and then you get the Emperor. So the only reason you would now go to Kandarin as a mage build is to get this. If you care, you can just go Desert and get a Shadow instead, and the Tormented Brace, which is 5%. So Kandarin's kind of like whatever at the moment. Taramman mentioned that one. Korend is this like tribrid. If you know what the salamanders are, it's like an ultra powerful version of the tribrid version of that. It looks pretty fun. I don't like how you have to charge it, but again, you'll have so much money that you can just buy all the runes that you need. But yeah, that one's again, it's like a tribrid thing, good for all styles, could be cozy. So again, that's why we're also thinking maybe this is a tribrid league, maybe it's hybrid, maybe it's not one style specifically. But yeah, when I say a melee heavy league, as far as I'm aware, if you're a melee build, you can go to Asgarnia. If you're a melee build, there's no point going there really. But it's more if you're a mage build or a range build. If you're a range build, you almost have to go to Korend because you want Dexterous Prayer Scroll and Twisted Bow. And then outside of Korend, what do you want? Do you want to get the Echo that's good for your style? You've got the Desert, Drygore Blowpipe. But then obviously you've got a Drygore Blowpipe and Nature's Reprisal. Which one do you use? Because I reckon the Blowpipe smokes that out the park almost every single time. But that means you're a range build. You've got Zaya and Desert. That's like kind of just locked in. Then you get one region to play with. Which one do you go for, you know? You're probably going to go to Asgarnia maybe to get a Zarite Crossbow, where your Echo item's a Dog Sword. Which, I mean, you can use that as well, because you can use multiple styles. It's just some styles are more powerful than others. So yeah, it does feel very, very melee heavy this league. But again, that's assuming that our combat style is just pure melee, which in 2 hours might be confirmed that you get 3 styles or something like that. Or maybe, I don't know, I'm not going to blab about what it could be because I don't have any idea whatsoever. But yeah, so my predictions is Kandarin's going to be by far the least chosen region. But yeah, I would not be surprised if they announced that you get 2 styles that are good or even all 3 styles being decent, because a lot of these do kind of put in regions that are not mandatory for style A, but give you an item for style B, which kind of just ruins it a bit. So my choices, I think, are really safe. Fremennik, Tribrid. No matter what I'm killing, no matter what I'm doing, these are good. Just maybe a bit boring because, you know, it's just an amulet and a ring at the end of the day. Morytania, Gloves of the Damned, a little bit fun. Tribrid, can get all 3 styles out of Arim, Carol, Verak, Darok, Guthun, Torag, whatever the hell. So that one should be good. And then Varlamore, I just think has loads of fun grinds in there as well. Morytania has my raid, and then Varlamore obviously has a Grandmaster Echo boss. Don't really care about the loot, but again, just loads of grinds that are going to be good on a melee build. So that's where I kind of stand. So I will be making lots of league videos, by the way. Depending how much I do play, I would love to try and complete my regions. I'm going to be playing late game relics every time. No interest in making an alt this time. I will do every grind that I really, really want to do and try and play as efficiently as possible to the late game. I'm kind of excited to try that. I think that will keep me very occupied on the league every day because there's going to always be something that I can be working on in some way. So just to reiterate, if you skip to the end of the video, I actually said at the start what my stuff was, but if you skip to the end, the regions that I'm going is going to be Morytania, Fremennik, and Varlamore. Reasons why is there's loads of good melee bosses. I want to go melee build this time around, and the items are pretty safe to go with and should be good. I don't care for the Gloves of the Damned. I mainly want Morytania for the Theatre of Blood. Fremennik is a super safe region, and I think the Echo Dagon of Kings will be really fun, but these are good with all styles. And then Varlamore has a Grandmaster Echo boss, which would be fun, but everything in Varlamore is melee based, so that's good. And then the final little, you know, sweet spot is I'm going Fremennik so I can get a Venator bow for the Colosseum. So yeah, pretty good. That's my plans anyway. Feel free to type in the chat, sorry, the description down below, whatever the hell it is, about what you guys are thinking. That was, I had those 3 regions locked in before any of these updates, and the fact that I'm still leaning towards them right now is a really good sign. So I just kind of have to wait and see. The only thing I think that could maybe change these regions as of right now is if they do announce like multi-styles in bonuses, because then I can kind of look around and be like, right, can I change any of this to do better? Because then I might have to throw Taramman in there. So we will see. Other than that, thank you for watching, guys. I know I've not made videos recently. The reason I've not made videos recently is I just haven't had any footage to record. I've got a lot of footage, but I just don't really have any videos at the moment. So yeah, anyways, there's some big stuff coming soon, which I'll talk about in a future video. But let's, yeah, focus on the league for now. Many videos after the 27th, at least, yeah.